Welcome back. You're watching The Money Show on ET Now. It's time for our Spend with TMS segment. Just last week, when we were seeing auto sale numbers trickle in, wherein car makers spoke about how many units of their vehicles were they able to sell in the month gone by, they also came out with a warning of sorts, and that is that their production of cars is going to be severely disrupted due to the shortage of semi-conductor chips. This is something that's troubling not just India, but countries around the world have been grappling with a sheer shortage of this key component to car making. So what does this mean for a prospective car buyer? Will you have to wait a little longer before you can get your hands on the car that you are watching out for? To talk about this and more, I have with me Mr. Vinkesh Gulati of the Federation of Automobile Dealers Association. Thank you so much, sir, for taking out time and joining us. So, what are you hearing from car makers in terms of their production schedules? How behind are they? Is there a big bottleneck by the time the automobiles reach your the dealerships, and finally when they are able to be passed on to prospective buyers and customers?
Yeah, you are right. We are at a very challenging stage. If I talk about from the dealer side, we have seen some bad months due to COVID and the lockdowns, and this is the time when we normally have enjoy the most because the demands are high and festive season is around the corner. The queries are good, but as of today, it's a very different balance what we are seeing today. When the demand is good and the supplies are bad, as a dealer, this is the worst time what we normally see. And moreover, this is a time when the customers are frustrated because we are not able to even give them the right date of delivery. So we cannot promise them also because of the disruptions happening all across due to semi-conductor, and latest the chip issue in the ABS also, what is happening for the past a month or so. So overall, not a good thing as per dealers and not even as customers, because once they think about buying a vehicle, the family goes in a full expectation mode, a happy mode that a new car is coming in. The kids are excited, the family is excited, but it's a situation where they pump in money as margin money to buy a vehicle, do their budgeting. And when they reach a dealer, they get a message that the car they require, we are not sure when they can deliver. You can book in and wait for another 2-4 months, which is a difficult thing for them. And this creates dissatisfaction from them. And it's a difficult thing for a dealer to also handle as of now from the counter level.
Oh yeah, I can completely imagine the entire family gets into this mood of excitement of getting a new car at their doorstep, only to find that we are unsure of the delivery date, and that I can imagine fizzles out the level of excitement among the members. Right now, based on what you're hearing, Mr. Gulati, what are which car makers and models are struggling the most with this semiconductor shortage that we are seeing?
So practically, you have already we have seen Maruti coming out in the press, Mahindra coming out in the press. Tata came out 3 months back, but overall, I feel Tata is still in a better position. Mahindra was very clear they are going out with a 25% cut in the production, whereas Mahindra has been seeing such situation for a month or so. For Maruti, this is the second month. So if I talk from the dealer front, we had seen such disruptions happening from post-lockdown, which was last year. But things improved in between, but it again gone bad. So we were having some a month to 3 months waiting for most of the model, except for 1 or 2, like Mahindra Thar, which had some 12 months waiting. Rest were around a month or 2 waiting, and still we were able to manage with the dealer, with the customers, where booking was done. And normally a process of 15 days to 20 days goes getting the vehicle finalized, getting the finance finalized. So another 20-30 days for waiting period was good enough for a customer to accept. But lately what has happened, the waiting period, which was a month or so in a product, has now gone up to 3 months. And going further, seeing the way the festive is coming in, more inquiries coming in, more booking coming in, this is going ahead. So overall, the waiting period has actually doubled than what it was there when this lockdown open means June and July. And the bigger problem is the manufacturers are still unsure. So we get, as a dealer, we get a plan for a month billing, which comes on the first, which has maybe assume 100 vehicles. By 5th of the month, we come to know it has gone down to 80. And by 10th of the month, it's gone down to 70. So basically, a dealer is not sure of what is he's 100% getting, so that he can commit to a customer that his vehicle will come on so and so date or whatever is happening. So the commitments are failing from dealer to customer, and this is creating more distress between the relationship between customer and dealer. So not a good sign as of now, like I told you before also. And the manufacturer are also not very clear on how things will be. They are just giving a trend that this is the challenge what we are seeing, but giving an exact production, exact dispatches to the dealers changes for most of the manufacturer during the month at least once or twice.
Okay. So the entire situation is very volatile. The car makers themselves are unable to commit to a proper delivery plan or a schedule plan, because of which the dealers as well are not able to commit to customers on when exactly the car will be delivered. But just to give you a sense of it, earlier the average waiting period, including the financing and everything, would be at the most 40-45 days. Now it's gone up to as much as 3 months. So I think more than doubled really is what we have seen in terms of the waiting period for some of your favorite cars. And I would imagine, sir, that the more popular a car model, the longer would be the waiting period for that. We've been hearing of a lot of demand for SUVs come by. We had a discussion as well on this topic about how SUVs really are one of the most popular brands. So I can imagine that this is one segment being impacted quite a bit. Another thing that I've heard is that even now getting or replacing or upgrading the parts and spare parts of an existing car has become quite a difficult task. We've been hearing of a 6 to 7 month long waiting period for even changing the car's infotainment system, which is there usually, well, today in almost every other car, in at least the higher end models. So how has this impacted car parts as well, and just simply replacing car parts? If you could shed some light on that.
See, practically, the car infotainment system is the most complex feature of a vehicle. So it actually culminates from all the ECUs or small conductors or chips which are there in the car, and it's a medium where a customer is able to understand what is happening in the car. So if there are features like Tiretronic, there are features like doors ajar warning, or headlight auto lamp or anything. So every feature has to come up to the infotainment, which is a part of the brain of the vehicle. So if you want to set that, if you are driving at X speed, automatically the door should lock themselves. So when you start from 0 to 10, the door should lock out 0 to 20. So everything is controlled by the touch screen or the infotainment, which is the entry point or input point from the customer and the driver, the vehicle driver. And that is the most complex feature. And what we have seen for the past 1 year or so, there are a lot of companies which were having manufacturers which were having problem in that. And some even launched products without a touch screen system or without even the infotainment system. So had removed some features from the car, and because of shortage of semi-conductor, they launched the base model with some features which weren't affected by the infotainment system or semiconductor, but less than the top model what was happening. So a customer was given an opportunity to buy a vehicle, put a music system or an infotainment system from the market, but obviously that is not as adaptive, as advanced as what it was coming through with the manufactured fixed vehicle. So overall, that is a way out what manufacturer found out when this infotainment system shortage started around a year back. So there are some manufacturer who has found a solution by reducing the features, adding a new variant of a vehicle. But there are some manufacturers who still grappling from them. So vehicles are being sent to dealers without infotainment system, because infotainment system can be plugged in at the dealership also. And the transportation time of infotainment system is at least 3 times lesser than a vehicle being transported. So that process has also been used by many manufacturers to support that. But in the end, the problem is there. Even if you manufacture a vehicle and send it without infotainment, the vehicle can only be given to the customer the time the infotainment is received at the dealership, which is a problem. And like you said, even in after service, this is becoming a major issue. So when a vehicle is sold and a year later, an old vehicle which has been already done a year or two and needs some things which is to be changed, like ECU or any controlling unit, when the same part is not available at the new vehicle point, it creates a problem for us in the service side also, which is a problem for a customer because his vehicle becomes immobile if a control unit is missing. So overall, semiconductor, which originally was thought to be a very small thing in a car, has now become the biggest issue for a vehicle manufacturer side and the service side or the spare side also.
Who would have thought that, really, Mr. Gulati, that something so small can become such a big issue for the entire automotive sector? So considering the fact that we have the shortage of semiconductors, this global semiconductor makers are also increasing prices purely because of the supply-demand situation, and then of course you have metal prices, which is a key component of cars as well, going up. Car makers have increased prices in turn, and then there's this huge supply crunch in general amidst higher demand, which will probably even go higher in the festive season. Is this festive season then, sir, perhaps going to be devoid of deals and discounts, which we usually see?
I'm not wanting to say that, but yes, you are right on this point. Customers and dealers always suggested to customers that this is the best time when you buy a vehicle, because this was a time when even a small reduction in a scheme got a good jump in the inquiry level in the market. But seeing the demand supply gap and the waiting period, slowly and steadily, major OEMs have reduced the scheme. There are still schemes. I'm not saying it's not there, but it's at its lowest level, I feel, for the past 2 years, what the schemes are today. So festive season won't see that kind of push because of a better scheme. But yes, because the demand is there, the customers are there, they want to buy a car for their personal mobility. So vehicle will be sold, but not a right time, or you can say not a very beneficial time for buying a vehicle because of the schemes and the waiting period, what we are seeing through. And additionally, for the past 10 years, we have seen a lot of manufacturers have increased the prices thrice or 4 times also, because of, like you said, the material prices, steel prices going up. Things are not that good, but if you really require a vehicle, I feel you should buy at this time, because the semiconductor issue or the material prices issue will further strengthen the price, means the price will still go up coming. So I feel another 6 months, this kind of issues will haunt the auto retail going further. So if you want to buy a vehicle and even 3 months later, I feel that today is the best time to buy and not wait for coming time. But yes, we hope that things go better as fast as possible. So we are able to see more cars with us and more schemes with us, and a beneficial, financially beneficial thing for customers also.